What? Whatever. Good evening, chat. Hello. It's Thursday night, and well, that was not a good showing. I don't know. I got to work with Ryan. I got to figure out their ways. That's a whole different world. So maybe we'll try. Maybe we'll try it again. Maybe we'll try it again. Something like I can actually really get involved in. Because it is a lot more fun. You can just be like, "No, it's all perfect." It's like, yeah, but maybe we'll do that one night. Maybe I'll work with Rob. He'll be like my pie may. Make Rob Norm my pie may, and he can, without plucking my eye out, he'll teach me how to debate and be on the internet crazy. Cole says boomers be boomering. They do. We do. So welcome to the show. Some of you new people there. Just watch Pisco for 10 minutes and you'll get it. I mean, a little bit. Do a call-in show to practice next time. Yeah, we could try. But we already do a call-in show. Anyway, we are going to get started here. Welcome to the show. My name is Sean, so I'm potential criminal. I'm an attorney in Cleveland, Ohio area, and tonight is the Thursday night show because it's Thursday night. Be advised, we may have weather difficulties because there is some stuff coming our way, and when Ryan Hall is like watching your area of the country, it's like, oh, I don't know. This is not promising. So there is stuff coming our way, and apparently WAPOC just got like smoked, and there's even more crap coming. So yeah. So just be ready, guys. Just be ready about it. So I'm not looking forward to it. But oh well, I'm sure Clyde will be jumping up onto me before we know it because Clyde don't like the Thunders. So I got pwned by the So Boys. Yeah, it happens. The colon show sounds sus. Well, you gotta pound the colon show. You gotta pound the tables and demand the colon show. But anyways, let's get started tonight. We got a nice little group of people here, guys. We are live tonight on. And actually, I've been told, like, is it true that somebody told me like Rumble now is something that StreamYard will work with, but I haven't seen it before. But somebody claims it was doing that today. How was the debate? I don't think I did a very good job. I was still one. No, I wasn't. I was trying to think about what they were doing. I just didn't have it there. Linda Lee says, "Where's my hat?" I put it away because it gets hot. So, Rumble is gay. Yeah. You think I did fine? I appreciate it. Anyway, let's get to it. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about tonight. Oh, Kick went down. Hold on. We got to put Kick back up. We are live tonight on Twitter. We are live tonight on Kick. Guys, help me get in the Kick Creator Program. I need to get those subs so Phil doesn't get them. And also, last but not least, chat, we are here on YouTube. Adam A. Dude says zero prep lawyer to zero prep debate. I've been really fucking busy though. Like I didn't have time. I did not have time to get like ready. Like I felt bad. I was running around with chicken my head cut off today. I thought I'd have time today and it didn't work out. I was like, I felt bad. Like I messaged Wick. I'm like, I'm so sorry, man. Like I didn't have time to prepare. So but let's just ask PPP to put you in contact with Gabe. Yeah. That's the guy's thing here. Spud gun for £2 sterling. The King Sterling says, Sean, please read my previous comment. What is your? I'm curious to know what it is now. Where is your Spud gun says, I saw a breakdown of the LaGuardia accident. I was wrong. The ATC air traffic controller was overworked and understaffed. I would draw my comments about him being guilty of manslaughter. Yeah, from what I speaking to people I know in the biz, in places like that, they kind of do the whole like some of you guys could take off early. It's my turn to run the show tonight, and apparently, yeah, it didn't go so well. It sounds like that was kind of one of the things that happened there. So yeah, a lot of people are going to get fired from what I've been told is probably the outcome here. So some of them maybe not, though. Some of them maybe not. So, but yeah, basically people like clocked out or stayed on the clock and went home. It's like, oh man. What is 2 pounds of real sterling worth these days? Oh, I don't know. That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. No big Texas, Air Canada, no big loss. I mean, Air Canada is still a step above Spirit, although Spirit's like bankrupt. But Fire Red Podcast is lots of people going to get sued. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. But remember, as we talked about with the Toronto plane crash last year, where the the all Wallman crew flipped it over on the runway because they made a carrier landing in a CRJ. There are statutory provisions and treaty things on money that you're entitled to as a passenger if you're involved in an airline accident. So there's all kinds of stuff that comes out of those. And we'll get to those. As there's a little more that happens in here. So, but let's get into the show. Tonight, we're going to start off with, there's a lot of things here. This is courtroom etiquette. You're going to see a lot of stuff happen here. And it also is humorous. But this is a learning lesson for everybody. Like, there's stuff I can take away from this. There's stuff you guys are going to be able to take away from this. This is on Twitter. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. This is the trans lawyer kind of losing their shit in court. Now, ultimately, is this insane? Yes, it is. And what this starts out as, it's some sort of domestic relations court or something about child custody somewhere in Oklahoma. I don't know where in Oklahoma it is, but it's not in Oklahoma City, and we find that out very quickly. It's somewhere like maybe semi-rural Oklahoma. I don't think it's like completely rural Oklahoma. But we start, that's, our scene on our, our Verona Fair. We have basically everything starts sliding out of control. And we have a couple of parties. Obviously, the judge is the judge. The guy over here in the blue tie is counsel. And then this person here. This is the attorney for mom. It sounds like the guy is attorney for dad. And it sounds like dad moved for this custody complaint in a county, and it seems like they're initially mom's attorney wants to challenge jurisdiction, saying, why are we doing this? The kid's never even been born here. They bring up something about an ADA form. Apparently, I don't know if he needs an ADA accommodation or mom needed an ADA accommodation, but that's what I'm understanding is going on here. And this attorney just doesn't learn one of the biggest things is you got to have chill in court. So here we go. We'll get to all of your comments here, guys. We'll get to all your comments. But yes, this video is so Kino. It is. It's Kino. Oh my God. Are people messaging me? What the fuck? Let's see here. What is... So this is, oh wow, somebody just messaged me. Patrick Tomlinson lost his thing against the cops. Wow, I'm gonna have to cover that tomorrow night. So here we go. Let's get into it.
I pointed you to the exact paragraph.
Stop.
It's her education.
Stop.
Because you don't want to hear what the argument is.
Stop. You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
wipe that smirk off.
I don't have a
your face.
smirk on my face.
Oh, yes, you
I
do.
do not.
I am not going to tolerate this from you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Fill out the request, get the form from our court clerk's office on the second floor, make sure it comports with what you've got already, get it filed, mailed in, whatever you need to do. Let us assess her request. If it's
My client's not seen her child. There is no order in this court, and there's been no jurisdiction found that this court has jurisdiction over this child who has never lived in your county.
You just
Never lived.
You
I did
just
not. There was a pause. There was a break. I wasn't done with my argument.
And I was not done with my.
Okay, so here's the deal. When you're in front of a judge, and I think the Afroman, the attorney in the Afroman trial, David Osborne, handled this so well. When you're dealing with the judge, it's like dealing with a wife or a girlfriend. They're right. You're not going to win the fight there. This is it. You're right, Your Honor. My apologies. It doesn't matter if you're right because you're not going to win that argument. And here's the thing. This attorney has come from way out of town, like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So that's already a strike against you because this guy standing here is a hometown guy, probably. Very familiar with the court, probably been there a bunch. So when you show up and you're already like out of town and you've never been there before, you really have to mind your P's and Q's. Because that judge could look at you and say, well, fuck this guy. You're out of town. So you really have to be careful. There's a lot that already starts happening here. So playing this game of like, well, I wasn't done with my argument. You're not going to. You're right, Your Honor. I'm sorry. My apologies. That's how you have to handle this. If you don't, oh my God, you're going to see what happens when you don't. Yeah. You're already out of order. I agree, David. But at this point, when you start arguing, we're already going downhill, chat. And I'm not talking about gradually. In terms of being in a courtroom, you're already like, if I'm sitting in the courtroom, I'm like, bro, like you're already thinking that. You're like, ooh, he's fucked. So this is somewhere in Oklahoma. Anyways, like we're already like on the express elevator to hell for this guy. Like that's how fast he's going down. So here we go.
My statement. You interrupted again. Do not throw your.
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
Okay, that's another problem here. When you're in the situation, this is true for all of us though in life. When you start getting fired up, you kind of get like, oh. And watch what he, and you know, he says he's he. Watch what he does.
Break. I wasn't done with my argument.
And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again.
Notice, I put it on the bench. No, you didn't. Also, number 2, I would never put my phone on the bench like that. That would absolutely be a fucking asshole move for Zimzier. That would be an asshole move for me to do. You would never put your phone up on the bench. Now, what could you do if there's like a little lower ledge? Like they have, you know, like courts have all those kind of like trim and crap all over it. You could say like, oh, I'd put it there and it fell off. Like that can happen. That can happen. Right now, you look like a big fucking asshole. Non-binary otherkin. So, that already, like, you're already fucked now, because that just looks like a temper tantrum, which is what it is.
Do not throw your.
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
And now, on hindsight, you look like the fucking crazy person, because everybody's like, I saw you didn't even put it there. But now you're so backed up and such in a corner, you start fighting, and everything they say you did wrong. No, I didn't do that. That's not true. This is how this goes. This is a lesson for everybody, but attorneys, you have to be very careful. Like you don't like when you're in the spot, what this attorney should have done, Zimzier should have said, Your Honor, may I have a moment? Hey, like chill your fucking jets. But we're way past that point. And all you do when you piss the judge off is your client loses. Because if it comes to an issue where it's like a 50-50 and it's like, you know, which one do I put like the 0.1% on? Guess who's not going to get that 0.1% now? Because you acted like a big fucking asshole. This is very problematic stuff.
Sir, you've got a room full of witnesses.
I do. I put it down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall.
Then settle down.
I'm not upset and I'm not arguing. You're not letting me make an argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not.
So our court reporter cannot get what we're both saying.
I am trying to make my argument.
Also, chat, this is true on these arguments. Like, you look mad, bro. I'm not mad. It doesn't matter even if you're not mad. You're mad. I'm not turning into corn, says the man slowly turning into corn. Like, that's how it works. And I agree, David. This is true. As an attorney, you have to be able to rise above emotions. And yeah, Zimzier is handling this way too emotionally and is way too wrapped up in the case. It's the only reason it acts like this. Yeah, like that's the thing. I wouldn't even be acting like this in a murder trial. Like, there's only like you can be forceful but this is like it's like mom is up there arguing, which is very apropos because it is a woman. But yes, she's basically doing the Reddit thing. Dude, I'm freaking objecting. You're being super fascist. Yes. Am I ever doing a Lego stream again? I don't know. Cacophony says Zimzier heard no before. Yeah, and I'm thinking so. Never heard. I don't think Zimzier has ever heard the word no, because this is really where I'm getting the vibe on this. So let's keep going.
Interrupted my argument halfway through on an objection.
That will get every available deputy.
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware. It's happened to me before.
It has.
Yes.
Because you're out of line.
Yeah,
of course.
I guess so.
When I heard that, I'm like, that's not something I would ever want to admit to. Yes, Judge, I'm such a lunatic. I've caused the judge hit the panic button before. But how fucking mental do you have to be where that's happened? Why does their voice sound weird? Because it's a woman. It's a female to male tranny. And, look, it's done enough testosterone. It can grow a beard. It messes with your voice. So, yes, Hanani Moose says, Your Honor, I demand my Reddit gold. I demand my upvotes. Your Honor, I'll downvote you. So this is just, you're already, I'm not gonna lie. If you cause such a scene that this happened, you probably should have been referred for discipline for that point. Like, especially when you're like, well, yeah, this exact behavior I've done before and nobody's disciplined you. Like, anyway, here we go.
Okay. If I push that,
or maybe because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state.
I don't know what you are.
You do, ma'am. It's not that you do.
Is that her concession that she doesn't pass? Like, it's kind of funny. It's like, because I'm trans, it's like, oh, we just thought you were ugly and had a shitty voice. No, you do. It's like, oh, okay, we knew. Like, all right, I don't know which one you want it as.
I don't know whether
you do, ma'am. You do.
Other than you have just now.
No, ma'am. You
that
do.
Doesn't have.
Also, accusing the court of being prejudiced in a a impermissibly discriminatory way. Now you're gonna have to come back and deal with your client in front of this judge, and it's like, well, he already called the judge. It's like calling the judge racist. It's like, oh, buddy, don't want to be in that boat.
It's happened when we talked on the phone.
Don't want to be on that boat, chat.
That wasn't talking, let me tell you. You were entirely inappropriate.
You were yelling at me, and I did not even know you were the judge.
And I didn't know you from Adam.
I said, my name is Rob Hopkins. I'm an attorney in Oklahoma City.
No, sir, you did not.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no one there to know that, right?
Okay. So we are pausing this until you get the ADA request form filled out and it gets processed.
So we're going to pause the hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice. I drove an hour and a half to have the hearing. My client's available telephonically, and we are simply not even taking testimony.
Is your client available telephonically?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is a big point where we stop. The judge is saying your ADA form, and I'm assuming, like, I didn't have a chance to ask MG Law. I'm assuming that means, like, Americans with disabilities Act stuff. And the courts have to make accommodations, whether it's for the attorney or the client. But I agree with the judge. Like, look, you said there's some sort of disability issue. We got to address that. Go fill out the fucking form and we'll deal with jurisdiction. Yeah, I drove an hour and a half for this. That happens. That happens, broski. That happens, dudette. Toots. You'll drive and go an hour for a thing and you're ready to go. And the court comes out. It's like, actually, we're not doing that today. And you're like, this could have been a video hearing or an email. Yes. That happens. That's one of the downsides of like taking shit that's an hour and a half out of town. Like, I hope you're getting paid well for it, but that happens. That happens. Like, you know, whatever. Deal with it. Deal with it. I don't know what the accommodation's for. But yeah, this is I drove an hour and a half for this week for a case and the trial didn't go forward. Yeah. I've driven an hour and a half for something before and they're like, oh yeah, we're going to have to continue that. And you're just like, oh, okay. And you know what? The court decided on its own it's continuing that. Something came up where the judge couldn't deal with it. So it's like, well, it's like in The Hangover, well, and if that happens, well, you're then shit out of luck. Bump, bump. Like that happens. Like you fucking deal with it. You got to, deal with it. There ain't nothing you can do. If the court has prioritized something. And honestly, yes, like we're kind of getting into like a jurisdictional argument is important, but if we're addressing disability accommodations, I don't think that any appellate court or governing court in the state of Oklahoma is going to say, yeah, actually, you should take care of this first instead. Like, there's no way in hell I could see that being an issue. So this is very nonsensical, I think. This is a very nonsensical argument. And also, why am I... oh, hold on here. Where am I? Oh, I understand. I'm in the wrong windows, chat. I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong... I moved this tab around and I shouldn't have. And I moved it off the main windows I had set up. Yep, there we go. That's where it went. I was like, why is this along with the other tabs? Why is this up with my train porn? So here we go, chat. We're going to keep going. Let's keep going here.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Your Honor, to which we would object. This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman.
I need to use that phrase at some point here coming into court, because I have used factually accurate more than once in court. But I need to use that. That is clear as the nose on my face. John, what is this? It's about some sort of custody battle. It's a custody battle of some sort. But yeah, this is interesting in that regard. So here we go.
This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant or stealing.
Objection, hearsay. That's not true. And you're ready to say.
That's not true. It's like, it's hearsay. I bet he knows and could go find the court that she has that warrant in. That's not true. You don't get to argue about that. You can say, Your Honor, that's not true. She has a disability or she has to work or something's happened. The biggest thing of all here, and this is something I'm going to critique when I saw this initially, if your client's not there, you need to secure permission for them not to be there ahead of time. So like this idea she's appearing telephonically, he probably should have filed a motion or at least notice to the court, my client's unavailable. Could she appear by telephone? Could she appear by Zoom? None of that was done. So this attorney, she's not really like, she doesn't have her shit nailed down here. So maybe she does have a warrant. I don't know, but you could say, Your Honor, she has to work today, and I want to allow her to appear virtually. Like, there's all kinds of things you could deal with this. The judge is being too nice. Well, the judge, her patience, she still has to hear the case. She still has to deal with it. But there's a lot here this attorney has not done that I think she should have done. So, and just screaming, that's not true. That never works. Because because that's the entire case as an attorney. As an attorney, that's all we're doing. Your Honor, that's not true. Your Honor, that's not true. Your Honor, that's not true. Like, the judge understands, you're going to be like, Judge, that's bullshit. Yeah. Otherwise, why would you be here doing the job?
Because she has a warrant or stealing.
A judge shall never say that's not true. And you're ready
You
to
will find, sir,
don't look at me and say
me.
or shout at me.
I'm not putting it on there.
No, we're stopping.
And that right there, you're shouting over. It's like, fuck. Oh. Yeah. Yes. If you want to know the truth about it, have you actually, Trenches and Trent says, have you ever went to actually judge? That is true. Yeah. Yes. You have to remember, I have a duty of candor to the court. Did this happen? Yeah. Yes. You're like, oh, maybe. And the court understands you're doing what you can for your client. But yes, the judge asks questions. You're like, yeah, it kind of happened, Judge. Funny story, Your Honor. Where's my client? Well, let me tell you what. Let me tell you what happened. But yeah, this is up to this point, this guy has been professional. She has not. But he immediately kind of acts like a goober here, and I don't think this was proper by him.
Get out of my face, sir. Get out of my face, sir.
You may step
Get out of my face.
You should leave this county.
Get out of my
See, like that, when you're doing that shit right there, even if she wasn't trans, and you're just doing that to a regular attorney, like that the judge should be stopping that too. Stop calling she, he, I said she. That should be, he should not be doing that to her. The judge should be stopping the inappropriateness all around. That's now him retaliating professionally. You don't get to do, like, you should be doing that. When opposing counsel is literally cutting their fucking foot off with a chainsaw, don't get involved and show them how to do it. You just stand there. Be like, when the other side's getting annihilated, you just, like, oh, really? And you just go, and watch. And because he, once the judge's out of the way, they'd just be like, and the deputies are coming in, I'd just be like, I'm watching. I ain't saying a fucking word. Here. I don't know why he felt like he was compelled to do it. Although the one thing that does tell me, if I had to guess, is these two have had to deal with this case for a bit, and she has been completely fucking insufferable to him. If I had to guess, she has been an asshole to the opposing counsel. So he's very much wants to fucking rub it in.
my face. Get out of my face.
These people are my friends, and you're being ugly.
And get out of my face.
Look what you're doing, but
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
He shouted at me. No, I'm not being. You did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
No, I'm not.
I mean, at some point, though, you've been warned this is going on. It's game over, like, at that point. Now, notice, she's like, what do you mean? You didn't say anything to me. Do you not remember her playing with the little buzzer and stuff? Yeah, it's over, man. It's over. It's game over. He shouted at me, you're fucked already. You're fucked already.
And get out of my face.
look what you're doing, but
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
He shouted at me. No, I'm not being. You did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
No, I'm not.
Judge, I apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person. Not being
Okay, I would never go so far as to say I felt threatened. I would argue, yes, she is being extremely disruptive. But the idea that she is threatening, okay, come on now. That's like that's a little bit bullshit. Like, I felt threatened. It's like, really? Yeah. Yeah, this is not with a screaming, yelling court that makes you feel threatened. It's like, just admit, like, Your Honor, like, that lady really should have just said what she thought. There's some other person in the courtroom. I don't know if it's a court reporter, judicial assistant, maybe it's another attorney, but they're way off to the side, chat. They're somewhere way out here in the background saying, Your Honor, I felt really threatened. They were screaming and yelling in court. Like, bullshit. Bullshit. You know, it's like, come on. Just say, like, Your Honor, they're being cringe and gay. So, you know, that would be more acceptable, but here we go.
No, I'm not being. You did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
No, I'm not
Judge,
doing
I
my stuff.
apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person. Not the screaming and the yelling in court. I've never even heard that before in this courtroom.
Wait.
Do not hurt me.
And this is what happens when you've never faced consequences before. When they happen, you're very surprised. But this is same for clients too. When they finally run into the one time the judge quits, like the judge is tired of giving him chances. They're like, oh, wait, I'm getting arrested now. Oh, shit. That noise, when you hear those cuffs clear that pouch, that is a noise. Like, my ears are tuned. Like, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I immediately hear it, and you're like, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So here, like, that's a sound I'm used to now. Have I said they're being cringe and gay in court? No, because I expect the judge to hold me in contempt for that. I would never want to do that.
I've never even heard that before in this courtroom.
Wait.
Do not hurt me. Do not hurt me.
Your hands on your back.
Do not. You're throwing me over this.
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
Okay. Put your hand.
Okay, yes. When the cops tell you you're under arrest, that's it. When I hear the cuff clink, I perk up like a meerkat. You're like, but no, it's like the Sentinel. That you guys remember that show back in the day? The Sentinel came on for Highlander. It's like the jungle heightened its senses. I mean, you know it's coming, and you could feel court officers getting behind you because they're getting ready to cuff your client and secure him, and you're like, oh, fuck. Here we go.
On your back. Stop resisting.
You know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you all walk that way sometime?
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
Just settle down, walk that way.
Go.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not grab me. What are you doing? What are you?
Remember, chat, take your pinch like a man. Take your pinch like a man. Even if you're a woman, take your pinch like a man. Even if you're trans, take your pinch like a man. When they tell you you're under arrest, you're under fucking arrest.
What are you doing? You're hurting me. You're hurting me.
I give that guy credit. Officer Norwood starts throwing knee strikes, and I'm like, man, homie uses UFC, watching UFC there. Just watching. He's just, get ready. Here comes the knee strike to the fucking gut. Bam! It's like Joe Rogan. It's like, oh, he stunned him. He tagged him. Yes, they're hurting you. Yes, pain compliance is a standard tactic. I will say, like, that kind of a couple of times almost was like a chokehold. It was like, I'm like, oh.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Put your hand behind your back.
I will say, in her defense, when people say if you can talk, you can breathe, that's not true at all. People who get positionally asphyxiated can still talk. If I'm strangling you, you can still make noise and talk. Like, it's not uncommon. Like, I do hate that argument. But yes, I can't brief. As a real attorney, I can't brief. Maybe I'll make that as a coffee cup. I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't Help! Somebody call 911! Please! 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 Please!
It's like one of those number stations out there. It's like beep, beep. It's like, please, it's like, call 911, help, get the police. It's like, we're already here. Oh God, this is bad. And now imagine that. This is your attorney. Even if she even if the mom fires her and she hires another attorney, how bad do you think things are going to go for her going forward? If you told me this is an SNL sketch, I'd believe it. Yeah. Yes, George Floyd would be very proud. Yes. Yes. Conductor. Yes, conductor, we have a problem. That's very true. John says, "I'm gonna get a new attorney." Yeah, but what like, you know, as this is queered the pitch. This is queered the pitch already. I mean, you can get a new attorney, but like, whoa, this attorney's kind of fucked your case. Nova Dexter saying this looks like a public defender. It's not. It's not. This is a custody case. This means this is retained counsel. So, Topher, we'll address that question here in a second because somebody else asked this too.
Ow! 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 Somebody call 911! Somebody call 911! Somebody call.
I know your phone now.
No! No!
All right, we're gonna pick you up. Go on the
No,
side.
no, I don't. Get a female officer now! Get a female officer now!
Get up.
Get a female officer now!
There aren't any.
I can't get up. I can't see. He just threw my glasses. I can't see. Give me my glasses. Put them on my face.
No.
Put them on my face. I cannot see.
No. No.
Please give me my glasses. I cannot see.
Yes, that is the funny part. When push comes to shove, you know, this is where she reverts back to her. You revert back to your original training, your original programming, the baseline. I'm a woman, don't manhandle me. It's kind of funny how that works. Kind of funny how that works.
I'm not trying to walk and I cannot see. I need my wallet.
I don't think you need your where you're going. You don't need your wallet.
Thanks, guys.
I'm trying to walk.
Okay, that. Now, quit calling it she. Oh. So what happens from here, chat? What happens from here? Well, compare and contrast. Brian Steele, Young Thug's attorney. You guys remember, Brian Steele got held in contempt as well. And what did Brian Steele do when he got held in contempt? He took it like a fucking champ.
Take Mr. Steele into custody, please.
And he's like, "Are you fucking?" He's like, "All right, I guess we're doing this." This is how you handle your business, because you know what? Your client still has to be represented.
For me 1 moment to confer with counsel
regarding the appropriate remedy in this type of
Okay. All right.
Because notice his client is still being represented. It's not making a mockery of anything. It's being dignified. It's taking his time. Yeah.
Yes, sir. You certainly may.
Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me being here. You are removing me against his will, my will. You're taking away his right to counsel. And you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial. And I assume you deny, but I'd like you to deny our motions for mistrial. You denied the other people.
I denied your motion, but I'll certainly take that under advisement, sir. We're going to be in recess for the next 5 minutes.
That's how you fucking take a contempt. So, yeah, Brian Steele won this. The Supreme Court of Georgia stepped in within, I think, a day or two and said, no, you're not doing that. We're taking over on this. And eventually they dismissed it. Did he end up winning his case? Well, yeah, and Young Thug ended up walking out of there with probation. But it took months and months to settle from that point. This was done by Law and Crime. They were filming it. Silly Old Fidget says, why was this lawyer removed? Well, in this case, Young Thug's attorney, Brian Steele, learned the judge and the prosecutors met with a witness before the morning of trial. So we're already 6 months into the trial. That morning, the court was late by like 3 hours. That entire time, the judge, the prosecutor, and a witness who was on the stand were all talking in chambers, and defense counsel never knew about it, was never allowed to attend it. Brian Steele found out about that. And Brian Steele said, Judge, why did you do that? And the judge's response wasn't, you're right, that was an ex parte communication. I shouldn't have done it. His question to Brian Steele was, who told you about it? If Brian Steele refused to tell, and the judge threatened him with contempt, and the judge put him in the back, in 5 minutes, Brian Steele was back out, and they were back in trial. That's how you handle contempt. Like a fucking champ. Like a fucking champ. Did I see the Afroman juror thing yet? No, I did not. I need to watch that. So... Des the Third says, do we know if the lawyer has any other disciplinary issues? I don't know. Yes, Karate Cat Mom says, many of you found out that's what ex parte means at that point. Yes. But that's what happens. That is how you handle problems. Almost 2 years ago. And it's like it's out there. That is straight hood right there. I'll go in the back, sure. Have I ever been held in contempt like that? No. I've been close before. And, was I ever have I ever had to pay money to a court before? Yeah, for things I've done. Yeah, like you get a little out of line or something happens. Yeah. But not like this. No, never like that. If I ever in a situation like this, I hope to God I do it with half as much grace as Brian Steele did. So that is, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the trans crash show was straight theater, I know, but that's professional, non-professional. Yes, the judge got mad because I ate his sandwiches. So what happened ultimately? Some of you guys are asking questions here. The instructions, could the client motion for ineffective counsel? Well, remember, we're only at some sort of base. We're at a hearing, but it's not like the custody trial, like the final event. So this person would probably have time to go out and get new counsel. They could probably demand their retainer back. And especially in this situation, I'd argue this attorney has not earned any part of the retainer, and it would probably just be wiser for them just to refund the whole amount, at least for this part. If they've done a bunch of work up to that point, okay, they probably keep some of it, but I don't think they should be counting going out there and then acting a fool as part of their job when they do that. But yes, she could get a new attorney at any time. Yes. Eric Rodriguez says, I can't sneed. That's right. Sneeding is never good. You got to be able to sneed at the right times. Topher Toke says, could you get a new trial over this? Let's say this happened during trial. Like, we're in the middle of a trial, I think is your argument. Like, we're in the middle of the trial and like this happens. Yeah, I might be able to argue ineffective assistance of counsel. I would also argue this would have prejudiced the jury. This would have prejudiced the court. So you'd probably be able to make an argument. Would a court of appeals take it? I'd like to hope they would, but that doesn't mean they will. But yes, this is definitely one of those problems out there. This is one of those problems out there. No Mayo says, who's been a member for 14 months. Says, and thank you for being here 14 months, says, could she get disbarred for this? No. Now, it sounds like this is the second time something like this has happened. Certainly, she could be referred for bar discipline. And I'm assuming that's going to happen. And I would argue that under the rules of professional responsibility, the judge as an attorney has to, any conduct that violates the rules of professional conduct, you have an obligation to report them if they occur in your presence or you know of them. So yes, this will get reported probably to the Oklahoma State Bar, the Oklahoma Supreme Court, who's ever in charge of licensing and disciplining attorneys. And it would be probably investigated. If I was representing because the attorney, like if you face things like that, there are attorneys who specialize in dealing with bar complaints and investigations. So the attorney, because you need an attorney too, you need representation. You go out and get one of those people who has some experience with that. What do you do in these situations? Like, you get them into mental health treatment. You get them evaluated, saying like, what happened? Okay, well, when's the last time you saw the doctor? We're going to get you in the doctor, get you a physical, get you a mental health screening. We're gonna, who are your doctors right now? We're gonna get a list of all your mental health medications. You're gonna go get an appointment with them immediately. We got to start figuring out what happened, because maybe you just like had a psychotic break. If that happened, that's one thing. Could you still get disciplined for that? Yeah, you probably will. But that might be more of like a reprimand and a public reprimand, and maybe like a suspension, but it'll be stayed. But you'll have to show the court or the governing authority you're complying with mental health treatment, you're complying with all your things. That's what would happen there. If this is just she can't control herself, yeah, there's gonna be sanctions. There's gonna be I could see a suspension of time on her ticket. A lot of stuff can happen there. But it's not clear what happened there. Was that a mental health issue? Was that a substance abuse issue? Don't know. But that would all get investigated. Young Thug's attorney is willing to do jail time for his client. This is just sad. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that, you got to ride for the brand, man. Nearnath is saying, can she be ethics boarded? Yeah, and I think that's what you mean, like disciplinary counsel or investigated. Yes, certainly she will be. And I don't see why there's no way you can't. And here's the neat thing. As soon as this got out on Twitter, I think this happened back in February from when I was Googling earlier. I'm thinking that the court or once it gets on Twitter, the state bar is going to find out and they'll start investigating immediately if they weren't already advised. I'm sure they already were. It's a good question, though. The BKS says, can a person look up if this attorney has disciplinary events in their past? Yes. It depends on what website you go to. Like in Ohio, it lists your name and then it says disciplinary history and it says yes, no, and what for, in like general terms. Some states, yes, but a lot of discipline if they actually came to a discipline issue, because sometimes they may investigate and say not actually a problem. Then there's nothing gets filed. But if they do formal discipline, that has to get filed, and usually, like in Ohio, that ends up to the Ohio Supreme Court as a court filing, and it'll be like disciplinary counsel versus Bob Boberson, disciplinary, or it'll say like Dayton Bar Association versus Sally. You'll see those, and that's where you can find them. So you might be able to go ahead and like Google Oklahoma Supreme Court and Google that attorney's name and see if anything pops up. You can. It's just I'm not going to look that up. I'm not going to dab like that on the person. So those are really good questions, you guys. Very, very good questions. And wow, we got a lot of people. 459, damn. And then Brandon Lesko. How you doing? How you doing for $49.99.99.999? It's good to see you, man. Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing well. It's been a little while. Says it's easy to give up hope and lose faith in your fellow man. The agonizing daily headlines can be overwhelming and anxiety-inducing. The most important thing you must remember is things will get worse. Much worse. Worse than you could ever possibly imagine. Yes, it's like that meme where the guy's riding on the tank. Things are going to get worse. Trust me. Things will get worse. But thank you, Brandon. Hope you're doing well. Drummer says the Reds had a tough opening day against the Sox today. Really? Must have been a nice day for opening day. Really? It's there's no... Hold on here. Opening day for the Reds really is... I'll be dipped in shit. It was today for the Reds. I know Cleveland's next week, but the Reds are today. Interesting. EDW for the goal says, hold us in contempt. Here's the thing. I already do, chat. You're already in contempt in my heart. Erica Thorpe says, for the goal. Yes. And then Ugly Thumb says, I can't read. Yeah. Smog and Mog for $5 says, the next attorney should come in wearing a Burger King crown. Yeah, that's going to be rough. You're going to have to follow up after that. Fear Frozen 55 for $5 says, I'm going to be very trans intolerant, and I'd say be-icked touching Zer. Zer if I was one of those I'd be icked touching Zer if I was one of those cops. Thank fucking God I don't work security. Yeah, I mean, that's... And imagine showing up back at you're going to... And the thing is, that attorney's going to have to come back. That court's going to have its own sanctions. I'm sure there's going to be mainly a monetary issue and then a referral. But that's going to be a whole nother thing. And I don't know how that all shook out. But yeah, that's definitely, you're going to go sit. You're definitely going to go sit on that one. So you can't hold me in contempt. I hold myself in contempt. Yes. Reports on Facebook that Zzer closed down their LGBTQ law practice. Well, I'm sure they're going through a lot right now. That definitely happens. So UFL season starts this weekend too. Yeah. Johan says $25,000 bond. Well, you don't get bond normally. Like if you're held in contempt and you're in jail, you have to purge contempt. You don't really get bond in the sense of like criminal charges. You come back later, but court's sanctioning you right then and there. If you're held in contempt, you come back later and the court puts you in jail. That's not how it works. Like direct contempt for your behavior, you're immediately going to jail. So even the disciplinary counsel can't be like, you have to go back to jail for this. No. Now, if there's criminal charges, yes, but I don't think you're going to get criminal charges. I doubt there's disorderly conduct that's been filed. Yeah. Oh, Eric is saying this occurred February 5th. She closed down her law practice February 11th. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah, like I said, not surprised. I'm sure there's a lot going on there. And hopefully she gets it all figured out because yeah, yeah. Drummer says there are court docs in the Patrick Tomlinson case. Maybe you can interpret them tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll do that along with Russell Greer. Assassin Actual says, do they have to bring in a female cop to pat down this guy? Well, I mean, it all depends. I don't know actually what their policies are on that, but I mean, it's interesting how when push came to shove, it's like I'm a woman now. Keopathic says, enjoy the morrow, stalker child. Yes. Yes, that's right, Patrick. Wait till tomorrow. I'm coming. All right, guys. Now from here, we have some other stuff that happened. We are going to get into. And this is Justin Timberlake. You may know him from NSYNC. Also married Jessica Biel. We covered this last year. He got arrested for DUI. Ended up getting his case sorted out. Well, the body cam for that has been released, and we're just going to go through a little bit of this. But it's just interesting to see how this all shakes out, and also you can see how toasted he was, and I'll let you decide. So this is the officer walking up, and here they go. Now, chat, I will tell you, my personal advice I give to my clients here in Ohio. If you take the field sobriety test, they're looking to arrest you. They're going to arrest you already. They're trying to have you help them generate more evidence. If you can legally turn down field sobriety test, I recommend you do because you're not going to win. You can pass, the whole nose thing. You can pass the nystagmus. You can pass the walk and turn. You can pass the one leg stand. You can pass all of those with no indicators, and they can still determine you're intoxicated. So it's a test that you can't ever actually pass.
And then when we do this, just like you're doing right now, arms, feet together, arms by your side. You're doing it just now. I'm just going to re-explain it before we continue, okay? Arms by your side, feet together, and then you're going to keep your head straight, and just keep your head straight, only follow with your eyes, okay? Okay. You understand that? All right, yes, sir.
Well, you're bobbing and weaving already. That's not a good look. He's toasted. Remember, when they're doing the HGN, the horizontal gaze nystagmus, they're looking for smooth pursuit and tracking by your eyes as it goes along. That your eyes just follow along, because otherwise, when you have HGN, your eye kind of goes like this. It looks like to them your eye is tracking, but it's going like this. And then when they get to the corner of your vision out to 45. Your eye shakes and it starts shaking, and that's also nystagmus. So tell them you have vertigo. Yeah, but at that point they're going to say, okay, well, you're drunk. We're taking you in anyway. So let's go, Brandon. It's like, it's a challenge. Yeah. Now, as an attorney, there's all kinds of stuff I can challenge, depending on how he did this, how close the pen was to his face, the stimuli, depending on what they were doing. There's different ways I can challenge it. Using the NHTSA manual, because the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration is the one who kind of puts out the standard testing and how you should do it all. These guys are supposed to follow all that. You can challenge these things, but that only gets you so far. Sometimes it helps, not all the time. Why would we be struck showing this? It's a body cam. And I mean, Chad, he looks like you're already kind of weeble wobbling. And you can see his head slowly tracking as well. He's having, issues following commands.
Hey, 47 and 7 clear for down.
6, go ahead.
And then this last one. This last one.
Your BMW is valid to 6 Rental Car LLC. Your subject, Justin Timberlake, is valid out of Tennessee. Negative 15 York.
So,
10 point, thank you.
so they're doing a little more HGN testing there. We're going to skip ahead a little bit here to we're going to do now. You can see him do the other parts of this.
Explain this to you, and then you're going to go ahead and do it, okay? So I'll just explain it in its entirety, and then we'll go ahead and do it. It's going to be 9 heel-to-toe steps, followed by a series of small steps.
Now, this is a problem, and I'm really good at digging cops on this. Where's the line? How do I know what line I'm following? Because I've had this before. The cop's like, oh, he didn't walk a straight line. I'm like, what line did you want him to walk on? So this is, that doesn't save Justin Timberlake here, but there's all kinds of shit you can pick apart.
Steps, turning around, followed by 9 heel-to-toe steps back. So we can use an imaginary line. If you want, there's like a little skid mark here, so we can use that. What I'm going to have you first do.
This one or this one?
It's going to be the one of your preference, okay?
Whatever you
See, and those things right there. No, you should pick one, because now I don't know. Like, I've had officers do this before to a client, and they're like, well, that one. It's like, well, you said he could pick one. Which one did you let him pick? Did he tell you which one he was picked on? And he said no. I mean, ultimately, we were able to get that knocked down to a reckless op, but this is a little sloppy by these guys. A little sloppy. Yeah, they'll use chalk. They'll make you do it in a parking lot on a painted line or the white line on the side of the road. But yeah, just doing it like at a skid mark is like, which one?
want, man.
You got it.
How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Vote for Ron Reed, chat. That guy's got the best campaign ad ever. Yes. Ron Reed supports Justin Timberlake getting a DUI.
Okay. We'll start right here, and then we'll continue down this little skid mark here, and we're going to have an imaginary straight line, okay?
Okay.
So what I'm going to have you do, put your left foot on this imaginary line.
This one?
Yep, and put your right foot in front of your left. And what you're going to
Already he's got a mark. Remember, you can only be about 2 inches from heel to toe, or otherwise that's already an indicator that you're intoxicated.
do, you're going to stand just like this. Left foot on line, right foot right in front of your left. And you're going to stand like this, and then I'm going to explain everything, and then we'll go ahead and do it, okay? Okay, so left foot on the line. Left foot on the line first. And then you're going to put your right foot in front of your left, stay just like that, okay? You're going to be heel to toe like this. Heel to toe.
Fucking, it's like Quiznos, man. He's toasted.
Your left foot on the line. Yep. You're going to have your right foot in front of your left, heel to toe.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to put our left foot on the line first.
In on a boat,
Put your
yeah.
right foot in front of your left, heel to toe. And you can stay just like that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to be a series of 9 heel to toe steps. I will demonstrate this like you're doing right now, like this.
What
1,
the hell are they talking
2,
about Britney Spears
3,
killing babies?
all the way up to 9,
Got
followed
it.
by a series of small steps around. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9 back. This is going to be heel to toe. So you're going to be clicking your heels as you're going, arms by your side. While you're doing this, you're going to look
Guys.
down at your toes.
Guys, I'm just following my friends back to my house. I'm not like
You totally sound drunk right now. So, yeah. Yeah, I know. This guy's a dancer. He's actually a very talented dancer. And it's just like, yeah. Step 1, Well, no, it's step 1, you cut a hole in the box. 2, you put your junk in the box. And 3, you make her open the box. Duh.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just
Okay.
following my friends back to my house.
Will you do these tests?
At this point, well, he's already failed. He's getting arrested anyway. He smelled like alcohol, blurry eyes. Like, he's already done.
Sure.
Okay. Like I explained, it's going to be 9 heel-to-toe steps.
So.
You can be clicking your heels, arms by your side. Just wait until I have you go.
Like this?
Arms by your side. So it's going to look like this.
Sorry,
arms by your side.
I've never done this, so I'm just...
Just mimic him.
It's going to be arms by your side, just like that, while you're doing it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Your eyes are going to be looking at your toes
Okay.
as you take each step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Once you get to your 9th step, like I demonstrated, your lead foot's going to stay planted, and you're going to take a series of small steps around, followed by 9 heel-to-toe steps back. Okay? Again, as you walk, you're going to be counting those.
Like T from Laos, this is way out in the Hamptons. Like this is way out on Long Island. Like they were out partying at someone's nearby, and they were going back to their like house or wherever they were going. So no, there's not really Uber available at this point, I bet. So
steps out loud, looking at your toes, arms by your side the whole way. So you're going to start with your left foot on the line. Okay. Right foot in front of your left. You got to stay like that, and then.
Fail,
like this?
fail,
It's going to
fail.
look like that.
Too much in between.
Okay?
Fail,
We'll start.
fail. I don't. Kay's like, it's Sag Harbor. It's right down from my. It's in front of my house. I don't know. Sag Harbor's nearby.
He's going to tell you when you're supposed to begin. He just wants you.
I'm sorry.
You're all good. He
Yeah.
just wants you to be in
You're
position.
done.
He's
You
going to
fail.
basically tell you when to go.
So I'm
Okay?
going to get in position, and then
Yes. 0, 0, 0.
I'm going to say you may begin.
I got
Okay.
you. I got
So
you.
left foot on the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right foot in front of your left.
Ready?
Then you may begin.
And then just walk. I'm sorry.
Here. Ready?
I'm a little nervous.
Left.
I'm just...
Right foot in front.
Yeah.
You're going to look down. Ready? 1, 2,
Okay.
3,
Got you.
4. Like that,
So
okay?
you-
Hang on.
so-
Let him tell you when to go. Let him tell you when to go. He's got to tell you when to start, okay?
Sorry.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
No, I want to make sure. We want to make
Left
sure
foot
you
on
do this
the line.
right.
Right foot in front of your left.
Is this my line?
Whichever
Perfect, yep.
imaginary line you make, that's the line you're going to walk. And you may
Fail.
begin.
Fail. 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 Steps are too far apart. Fail. 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 Fail.
You gotta go
take
back.
those 9 heel-to-toe steps
Yeah.
back as well.
Back this way.
Yep. Same way you
9
went.
heel-to-toe steps back.
Fail. Fail. Too far. Too far. Fail. Not heel toe. Fail. Too far apart. Not heel toe. Fail. Too far apart. Too far apart. Too far apart. Not even heel toe. Fail. Yep. So
One more test for you.
So this one's going to be the walk, one-leg stand. It's called.
yeah. So anyway, we'll just get over here a little bit. Yeah. Here we go.
Like,
So whichever leg you choose, you're going to raise approximately 6 inches off the ground, foot pointed out,
Just like this.
parallel to the ground. I'll tell you when to begin.
Just you look at me. Just as an example.
All right. So here we go. Hold on.
Bring it right back up. The 1,000.
So here we go.
no, I'm just kidding.
Okay. What's up?
Oh, what the hell is this lady showing up for?
Bring it right back up. The 1,000, 2,000. And just continue your count. So if you go down to 1,000, continue.
So,
Anyways, that's what happens. He completely screws this up, and he ended up being done. Yeah, here we go.
Maybe someone else could drive because it does seem like you're impaired, intoxicated.
okay.
So, just one sec, I'll grab that.
Oh yeah, the field sobriety test is about building evidence. It's not about actually testing them.
Time to stop and then time check.
So
Yeah, if we could have you just hang out in the front of the car, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Time of stop was 00:20. Time now is 00:35.
15?
Yep.
Definitely.
So they bring out the portable.
Or you
but
might, sir?
This is just more evidence because they say, sir, I think you are. I think you're a little drunk. Would you mind testing on the portable breathalyzer machine? And that, once again, is not admissible in court because it's not necessarily calibrated right, but it gives you a basic range of what's plus or minus this person is intoxicated. So, where is... Anyways, that's really it for Justin Timberlake. He gets, and there he is in the police car. So, Gatsby Land is like Stony Brook. So, you would think he would have a nicer car. It was probably a rental. It had Florida plates on it. It was a Florida. It was probably a rental car. Anyways, that is, just pretty, bog standard DUI. But it's interesting to see it. And they show it pretty well. So I missed the funniest parts, I know, but we're not going to watch all of it. Most boring celebrity DUI. Yeah, it was pretty basic. But yeah, it's a very good illustrative and demonstrative example. So I thought it was helpful. Chat. So this one, there's a, where is, this is something did want to get here, moving on. Sleazy says, let's say a certain clavicular was on camera mag dumping into a gator carcass in Florida. Charges, question mark? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Osint Commando says, funny to watch you charge house with Ryan. Had to stop myself from an aneurysm. Yeah, well, yeah. Mel Gibson did have the best DUI arrest. Yes. All right, chat. So, what happened here? Well, you guys remember Biden v. Missouri. Missouri v. Biden, and it was actually Murthy at the time. Was about the Biden administration and the government being involved with influencing social media companies to engage in censorship policies through the threat of force against those companies and their livelihoods. Well, the state of Missouri sought a case and went to the Supreme Court. They did end up losing at the Supreme Court level, not on merits. They lost on a procedural issue of standing. But in the meantime, yes, the Trump DOJ ended up entering a consent agreement with the state of Missouri. And I know people are like, well, Trump cut a deal. It's like, okay, but the deal is pretty based. It's actually pretty based. Like, do we not want the government to refrain from interfering in social media and influencing things? I thought we'd be all for that. Like, it's a pretty base thing. But this from the DOJ, and it's a consent agreement. It's a consent decree. And what does it mean? It's an agreement the government will promise not to do X, Y, and Z. And then this leaves you with a right of action to immediately sue to enforce this. You guys have probably heard of consent decrees with police departments in the DOJ, where the DOJ can enforce certain rules on police departments if there's civil rights issues. But he points out over the last 4 years, going from 2025 to 2021, the previous administration trampled free speech online platforms by exerting coercive pressure on third parties, such as social media companies, to moderate the platform or otherwise suppress speech the federal government did not approve. It was mainly COVID stuff, but other misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, as Ryan and I were talking after the thing. Remember, they had the Minister of Truth, basically. They had that lady, Nina Jakowitz, going to become in charge of the Truth Squad at DHS. So what happens here? Well, to prevent this from reoccurring, the defendants agreed to the terms to be enforced upon for a period of 10 years. Now, we're going to skip all this here because we're not really recapping the case, but I think it's important to talk about the provisions here. What does this do? It resolves all the claims of this case. It's binding upon all parties and their successors. This agreement is enforceable only by the parties and the successors as provided in the rules of civil procedure. So you can enforce it, but you have to be involved in this in the right way under the rules of civil procedure. It's to remain into effect for 10 years from the date this is signed by the parties and approved by the court. Now they point out that what are the general principles here? Well, it talks about the First Amendment prohibits the government from abridging the freedom of speech of the press. And the parties agree that modern technology doesn't alter the government's obligation to abide by the strictures in the First Amendment, which very true. True. They also agree that anyone else applying labels as misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation to speech do not render it constitutionally unprotected. And that is true. Lies are still protected speech. Untrue speech is still protected speech. And it says that, this comports with the common understanding that some false statements are inevitable if there's open and vigorous expression of views in a public conversation. Marlene says, so this is binding on Newsom's administration. Yes, for 10 years. So whoever. And it says, for these reasons, the government cannot take actions formally or informally, directly or indirectly, to threaten social media companies with some form of punishment unless they remove, delete, suppress, or reduce, including thought-altering their algorithms, posted social media content containing protected free speech. I also think if this was something applicable, like this I would argue this applies against Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman, talking about like Nexstar Media going forward. Can't talk about removing people. Like, I think this would actually, I would make the argument this applies. I don't know if it would, but it is something you can address. You can address. JB says, why only 10 years? Because that's kind of like a normal agreement window. I think that's just, because. So what does it mean? That it's a permanent injunction from the Surgeon General, the CDC, Cybersecurity and Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency are the adjoined defendants, and their employees shall take no actions, formal or informal, directly or indirectly, to influence social media, nor shall the enjoined defendants unilaterally direct or veto content moderation decisions of the companies. This prohibition does not extend to providing companies with information that the companies are free to use as they wish. So the government could give them information and say, hey, Twitter, here's a bunch of information. Do what you want with it. Nor does it extend to statements by government officials that posts on platforms are inaccurate, wrong, or contrary to the views. So, for example, if Twitter puts out, their statements on Twitter, whether by Twitter or by third parties, the president come on and say those statements are not correct. He's allowed to do that. Now, he can't say they're not correct, and God damn it, I will make you suffer if you don't take them down. That's going to be prohibited. That's going to be prohibited. Because they have to be coupled with a threat of punishment within the meaning of the above provision. And it says, for this purposes, social media companies shall include only Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Now, I think they're saying this, but I still think this could be read more broadly, and I wonder if a court would enhance this more broadly. But notice what's not on there. TikTok. There's Snapchat. God knows what we come up with in the next, 2 or 3 years. Who knows? Who knows? Duraco says no other agencies can pressure social media now. No, they can't. They can't do that either. They point out here that the prohibition set out in paragraphs 23 to 25 shall be limited to the plaintiff's social media content. It doesn't extend to media content posted by non-parties. So what does that mean? The plaintiffs are the state of Missouri and state of Louisiana shall be construed only to include government officials or agencies states acting solely in their official capacities, meaning Not everybody who lives in the state of Missouri and not everybody who lives in the state of Louisiana, which you're like, okay, that makes some sense. But remember, if these states want to get involved, they could immediately make a post and then go sue for it and enforce stuff. Thought Heretic says they can just offload to other countries and to demand censorship. Yeah, but they really can't. They can't. Luke Priest says, why does it protect True Social? Because nobody fucking uses it. I almost wanted you to say, what about Getter or Parler? It's like, because no one uses those. I mean, is Getter even around still? I know Parler's dead, but like, is Getter still a thing? So, but they point out that the plaintiff shall provide the enjoined defendants with a list of their social media accounts to assist in complying with this prohibition. Within 30 days of the approval, the enjoined defendants will provide notice of this consent decree to all their employees. And the administration of this, the district court's jurisdiction to enforce this decree shall be limited to issuing orders necessary to redress violations. Those orders shall be limited to ordering the removal or retraction of any statements issued in violation and declaring those statements to be null and void and of no effect. But here's how it works. How do you enforce it? Can you censor MySpace? Yes. Afton says, am I making up platforms now? No, like there was Getter, Gettr. That was the one one guy fucking was shilling. And then there was obviously Parler, which got taken down right after January 6th. MySpace is so 2015 like cable. Yeah. And it says, before bringing any motion to enforce a consent decree, the plaintiffs must first specifically identify the violation and bring that to the attention of the defendant. So if they do this, you have to go basically like, and go, hey, CDC, you guys are blocking my post. You guys are screwing with it. And they'll probably go, no, we're not. And they'll go, the door closes and they're going to go, ooh. So they're going to fight that. And they say the defendants must be given at least 15 business days to investigate and necessary remedy the violation. Notice, that's so much time. That's like 2 weeks to fix it when they're destroying, like with social media, a tweet's hot and then it's done. Think about it. Tweets don't last for 15 days. They're hot or they're not. And it says, only if enjoined defendants fail to remedy the violation may plaintiffs seek for relief from this court, subject to limitations. And it says attorney's fees. This consent decree shall not preclude plaintiffs from submitting a request for attorney's fees and costs as authorized under law. And any request provided this consent decree has been entered. Defendants agree not to contest plaintiffs are prevailing parties for purposes of 28 U.S.C. 2412, meaning we're not going to contest that you're the prevailing party, but we're going to oppose your attorney's fees still. And they say once this consent decree is approved, it resolves all claims in full. All agreements, actions, cases, cause of action, compromises, controversies, costs, damages, debts, demands, disputes, expenses, judgments, liabilities, payments, promises, and suits of any nature that were based upon or could be based upon or arise from the facts alleged and the operative complaint, whether known or unknown, against defendants or their current and former agents, servants, officials, officers, employees, in their individual capacities by the plaintiffs, their heirs, their agents, heirs, assigns involving violations of rights, including without limitation their Fifth Amendment rights or any other federal law, regulation, duty, obligation, or any other legal theory, action, or cause of action. That's a big old fucking sentence, you guys. Isn't that a big old sentence? Yes, a consent decree is basically a contract. So when it's final, the plaintiff and their agents waive all rights to any and all claims relating to the allegations of the complaint, meaning that they waive their right to pursue anything further, that once this agreement's in, everyone's locked in. Not only the defendants, but also the plaintiffs. This waiver and release shall include a full release of waiver of unknown rights based on claims relating to the allegations of the complaint. And this was signed and entered by the judge as of yesterday. Like, there you go. Don't have a consent decree accident. Oh, no. Oh no. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good, chat. Don't have consent accidents. That is not recommended. That is not recommended. Okay, so where are we at here? Now let me see. So yeah, this was interesting here. This was interesting. We may read up on this guy. We may read his indictment and go through it all. But a guy basically pled out to scamming Spotify and streaming services out of money. And you're like, what? And I will tell you what this guy did is like next level. It's like, it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So what did this guy do? He basically committed wire fraud using AI songs. This is actually pretty impressive. So what did he do? Well, he defrauded music services with AI songs and pled one count guilty to wire fraud. It carries a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison, and he had to pay back $8 million in forfeitures. So what did he do? Well, he created hundreds of thousands of songs using AI and used thousands of bots to stream the song billions of times the way normal people would to make an income. So this guy hired bots, and he made AI to make the songs, and then he used bots and AI to pump up the songs. And he spread the streams across thousands of accounts. So he was able to scam out Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. And yeah, he collected $8 million in royalties. How is it fraud? Because he broke their terms of service and did this. You know, he had bots and they weren't listening to the music. It's the same reason why if I use a bunch of bots and start making videos and 20 million people look at it, but I pay for bots, YouTube doesn't have to pay me. And that's fraud. I'm obtaining money under false pretenses. So, no, Bella, I did not talk about that because I didn't know about that till literally right now. So no, I don't know about Clavicular. But anyways, he generated thousands of fake songs using AI and streamed those fake songs billions of times. But yes, $8 million in royalties. But it's interesting. So they promised him that they're not going to prosecute him further, but if there are tax violations, they may go after him. So you're just like, what's going to happen here? So they revealed he was using 1,000 accounts, which would stream around 600 of his songs a day. That ended up to 600,000 streams a day, earning him $3,000 a day, $100,000 a month, more than $1.2 million a year. That's an impressive hustle. That's an impressive hustle. Marlene says, how was he caught? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure it's kind of like when these guys get caught gambling and they do like the point shaving, but they go bet like $1 million that the ball's going to bounce one time before the first pitch. Like nobody would in their right mind would make this kind of money or make these kind of bets if I had to guess something was going on, or like somebody realized these songs are bullshit and they're probably just like very garbage, low quality stuff. And they realized like, how did 1 million people listen to this song? It's not like a viral hit. It's not a meme. And they probably realized very quickly that these were like bots listening to it. And these were botted views. I'm assuming that's probably how they caught on to this. His fuck up was doing that in the US and not moving to Dubai. I'm pretty sure we have extradition with Dubai. I believe we have extradition with the US and Dubai. We don't have a formal extradition treaty between us and the UAE, but I'm sure that given our very close relationship, we would work something out or be able to be worked out, especially because you are not a Muslim yourself. You'd be in trouble. You'd be in trouble. Eric says, nope. Yeah, I don't know. I think they would help. I think they would help if the government asked. Guessing he got greedy and just never stopped and some analysts read the numbers. Yeah, like I said, I think it's probably that. They're like, wait, how is this song so popular? So he should have used NordVPN. Eric is saying you think they just care about the cash influx. Maybe. But that 8 mil wouldn't last forever. That 8 mil will not last forever. So I thought it was very interesting though. The guy's just scamming, straight out scamming like all these social media service, all the streaming services out of their money. But yeah, he had a multi-count indictment on that. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Like, don't do retarded shit. Now this one, I hope this goes to trial because this is going to be so cool. I thought this was a joke when 2.0 sent this to me, but a mom kidnapped a bully for bullying her child. So what happened? So this lady's facing felony charges for kidnapping and threatening a child for bullying her child. So what did she do? Well, she drove around the neighborhood looking for the bully. Okay. Once she found him riding his bike, she stopped her car and made him get in the car, made him get in her car. And then from there, she took him to her home without the parents' permission and made him apologize to her kid. And then after the apology, she threatened to have her husband beat him, adding he was lucky she didn't run over his bike. And then she took him back to his home. And did it cause serious emotional distress for that kid? I bet it did. But you know what? That kid's probably never, ever going to do it again. Never, ever going to do it again. He now has high anxiety. Well, did he stop bullying? He alters his daily routine significantly. Well, yeah, I'm sure he's like, oh my God, they're going to kick my ass. So she was reportedly a crossing guard at the time of the incident, which, I mean, that can actually make things worse for her because that might be considered a position of trust or a position of authority, and she's abusing it on that position. It's like, uh-oh, that could be bad. That might be an enhancement depending on what's going on there. So she got charged with kidnapping and felony aggravated child abuse. So she has a hearing on the 30th and remains out of custody. I'm hoping that gets broadcast. I want to see this. Now, this is interesting. So she told the news that the bad kid has a history of bullying her kids, including some with disabilities. And she said nothing was getting done. So it's her attorneys, though, issued a statement. And I'm surprised the statement wasn't just, shut up and don't talk to the press. But apparently she did. We deny the allegations, just saying it's not true. But yes, we find ourselves, these allegations are a symptom of the failings and erosion of traditional family values, where kids were held accountable by their own parents. It's like, yeah, I don't know how that works. Here. And then also the Disability Law Center. I don't know what that is, but it's an advocacy group. They don't condone the actions here. And they're saying that's not the way to respond, even if you call somebody a cripple. He says if there's bullying, you should report it to the police or the school. And schools have an obligation to respond. And that's true, especially if it's happening on campus, like on school grounds, and a kid's getting bullied and the kid has a disability. Yeah, that's a problem. It's a big problem. The school's aware of that, and they have an obligation to do something about it. I mean, if it happens outside of school, there's multiple ways to do it. In some cases, getting the police involved. But it's like, do you really want to call the cops saying, my son's getting bullied? My son's under attack? No, you don't. So you'd never want to do that. But they point out, due to student privacy laws, they can't discuss discipline of any student. So This would be fucking hilarious if it goes to trial. I'm not gonna lie. That would be so goddamn funny. That would be absolutely hilarioso. Um, oh, we got those ones right here up in front. Okay. This one is pretty degen. But it's like, this is a real thing that happened. And at first, when I read this, I'm like, there's no way this happened. This one will be a funny trial, too. So this lady is a mattress actress. She does her OnlyFans. She's a hoe. And she filmed herself at this Airbnb pissing all over everything. Like, it's just absolutely... Like, if you Google, like, there's all kinds of, like... There are actually videos of her doing this. Like, she filmed herself doing it, and she's in the middle of this Airbnb, like, standing on a, like, one of them shows her peeing on the TV, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What are we doing? But she's literally, like, filming herself peeing on the TV. She pees on all kinds of stuff. Base, you pay to watch that? Okay, well, no. Is she hot? I mean, she doesn't look like Jeremy Hambley, if that's what you're wondering. Edward says, this is the most normal thing we've covered recently. Diamonds Hedetta says, glad to see you're still making quality content. Well, I'm good to see you. Hope you're doing well. April went to Florida? No. Kyton says, how do you even know this? I mean, I keep track of stuff, and people email me stories, man. People email me stories, or they message me stories. Like, you guys could do that if you want. Like, this will be interesting. Like, it'll be interesting to see how this works about her pissing on everything. So, but yeah, she intentionally pissed on a bunch of stuff. And you might say, well, wait, can't all of this get washed? Like, if she peed on some bed sheets? Well, no, because she basically left it all like that. And there's going to be some issues here with, what was actually done right. Eric says, this is my town. Why is she not at my house? No, I can't show you any pictures because all the pictures show her kind of naked. So, like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're not gooning here tonight, chat. We're not gooning here tonight. But yeah, she's actually getting charged with felony criminal mischief and damaging property. So she peed on the antique Crown Royal chair. I can't imagine that's an antique. Yes, I'm sure it's some pretty cool tchotchke you have, but I doubt it's an antique. I doubt it's an antique. Can we pirate the videos for analysis? No. Should I hit up her OnlyFans and see if she'll come on and talk? Yeah, no. No, that's not something we're doing. That's not something we're doing. There was a rug, a typewriter, 4 dining room chairs, a coffee maker. Now, it would have been funny if she, like, peed in the coffee maker and made it distill coffee. Bed, the TV, the record player, the toaster. It's like, what did the toaster do to you? Where you're like, you're looking at the toaster and you're like, I want to pee on that. What was it about the toaster? You had to pee on the toaster. It's like the jerk. The cans, they hate the cans. It's like she hates the toaster. It should have been plugged in, yes. Are you sure this isn't Jeremy's wife? Yeah. Is it Piss Brand Piss? No. An electric fireplace is also damaged. Like almost $4,000 in losses. She's also accused of urinating at another Airbnb owned by the same person on the same street. It's like, wow. What the fuck? What is going on here? So another $1,300 in damage. And the owner reported a strong odor of urine in the residence. I'm sure if she peed on everything. Yes. Yes, an electric fireplace. Yes, once again, why did we pee on the electric fireplace? What did it do to you? She has a booking photo online, Sean. I'm not going to look at that. Yeah, you can't say that she wasn't hydrated. I agree. It sounds like she drank her water because she kept peeing everywhere. Yes, her name is Nicolette Keogh. Yes, just Google her on Twitter. It's a clean photo. I guess I'll. Let's see here. Let's see what other pictures of her. Oh, okay. Yeah, here's her picture, chat. Here's her picture. I mean, honestly, I get like the smile on her face. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna make so much money on my fucking OnlyFans." So good for her. That's gonna be. Yeah, I'm sure she's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be so famous now." Don't tell people to pee, not to pee on the fence. It's too funny when they do. Yeah, well, there you go. Fair Frozen says maybe she's going. Maybe she's turning into Bear Grylls and going the Bear Grylls route of drinking her own pee, and just like a circular, an enclosed system. Maybe she's going the Bear Grylls route. So she's gonna pee on everything in jail. Yes, piss maxing. Yes. But yeah, her OnlyFans is gonna take off. Yep. So, Time TCT says she needs to be held without bond. She'll reoffend at least twice a day. Yeah, do you think the court said like you could only? Well, actually, we have her. Case information here, and it's weird how they do it down in Florida. You can't. I had to highlight it so you could read it. But anyway, she's facing felonies, and she's already got an attorney. But yes, her cash bond was $2,500. I wonder if one of those terms was you could only pee in the potty. Like, no peeing outside or anywhere else, only in a toilet. Yes, she literally is taking the piss. Yes, she is literally taking the piss. Did she take a pee bargain? Oh my god, that's a good one too. That is a good one. That you guys are on fire tonight. Oh wow, chat. I don't know what I'd do. You guys are something else. You guys. Oh. Gaib. Yes. Pisan al Gaib. Yes. Return it to the tribe. They have to save it. It's precious. The precious fluids. That is so funny, chat. That is so funny on that. Oh. So. Oh, here, hold on. Somebody just messaged me. What happened? Oh, the guy closed down his law firm. Okay, yeah, that's already there. So. But anyways, we're going to keep going here. Sorry, Chad. I was just trying to read that. It was about it's raining piss. Yeah. Come on, body cam. No, there's no body cam necessary. She literally filmed all this shit for her OnlyFans. Like, she does like the piss fetish stuff. So like, it's out there for people to have. There's no need for a body cam. She literally filmed herself committing a crime. So yeah, you're worried about the wrong thing. It's out there. Don't worry. Yes, does she get a jury of her peers? Yes. Yes, she turns her eyes piss yellow instead of ultramarine blue. Yes. My toaster, my Arrakis. Oh my god. Some of you guys are just All right, moving on from there into the Afroman lawsuit, chat. Remember, Afroman was sued by a couple of cops because he dared make fun of them for their physical appearances and their bumbling nature as they executed a bullshit search warrant at his house in Southern Ohio a couple of years ago. Well, he made his songs about lemon pound cake, Deputy Pound Cake, Randy Walters being a son of a bitch. And remember, Afroman fucked his wife. And then also, chat, remember, Lieutenant Lisa Lickum Low Phillips. Lick 'em up, Lisa. Lisa, lick 'em low. So that happened. But remember, yes, the Randy Walters song is super catchy. They're both catchy. So remember, they went to trial. We covered it. They had the verdict. And remember, Afroman won. Afroman won. And don't quit the day job. Of course. But we have an entry from the judge in this case. And this came out on the 20th. So what happened here? Well, this is the judgment entry. It says the matter came before the court, the 16th, 17th, 18th, pursuant to a jury trial notice and the amended complaints. What did we see? He's giving a basic recap of things for the record. So there was a jury trial and we had it for 3 days. They noticed on the counts filed in the case were for count 3, invasion of privacy, false light publicity. And remember, guys, you guys learned Ohio's like one of the few states that has that. It's not a very common tort anymore. Defamation. And prior to jury selection, the plaintiff dismissed count 4, invasion of privacy. The plaintiffs had their attorneys. Afroman was represented by David Osborne. That's the guy with the big beard. So thereafter, and in Ohio, guys, a civil jury is 8 only. Remember, you only need 75% of them to agree for a verdict, so you can get a verdict of 6. And there were 2 alternates selected. You don't get a 12-person jury for this. The court administered Moat. The counsel made opening statements, did the trial. Plaintiffs presented their case through 10 witnesses. Numerous exhibits were admitted. Plaintiffs rested their case. A defense motion for a directed verdict was overruled. Defendant presented his case through 1 witness and several exhibits. There was no rebuttal testimony by the plaintiffs, which I think is a tactical failure on their part. Afton saying, what was the false light claim for Walters? That he was a cuck? Who knows? That's what they think, I think. Remember, he got all mad. It's like, well, is Afroman really fucking your wife? And he goes, well, I don't know. He might. My wife might like burning coal. It's like, well, I don't know what you want, man. So there were closing arguments. The court instructed the jury. The alternate jurors were sent home. After 6.5 hours of deliberations, the jury returned the verdict. All claims against the defendant were found in favor of the defendant. The jury got discharged. And remember, as part of this, the plaintiffs were asking for an injunction, but injunctions are not granted here because the relief is not a separate cause of action. The injunction would have only been there wasn't really there because you're asking for an injunction, but if you don't win the case, you have no injunction. So therefore, the count must be dismissed. And here's the fucked up part. Based on the relative merits of the case, there were no merits. This was not a meritorious case. They had no right to try this case. This is borderline frivolous. This was like a laughing matter. They should have been laughed out of court. I honestly, it should have been. The idea that the judge has the balls to do this, Judge Hine, it's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. It's absolutely horseshit. It's absolutely horseshit at this point. So it's just there's no it's just it's just, and you see this, but based on this, what's he do? Well, he looked at everybody and he says, I'm going to split The justiciability of the claim saying he thinks the plaintiff's case was at least triable. It wasn't frivolous. The costs are divided one half to the plaintiff and one half to Afroman. So even after he won, he had to still throw in money. He still had to throw in money. Signed Judge Hine. I still think it's horseshit that he did this. And when you go to the Ohio Rules of Civil Procedure, the Rules of Civil Procedure, when it talks about judgments, okay, well, what are they? So demand for judgment, okay, you get all this. You get the cost, which is what we need to look at. Except when express provisions are made, either in a statute or these rules, costs shall be allowed to the prevailing party unless a court otherwise directs. So the default is Afroman would have not had to pay a dime. But the reason why he said it was a justiciable claim, well, it says, the court, whether provisions authorize a court to award attorney fees, including these that are as caused or incurred, the court may award the reasonable value of services performed by the attorney, whether or not that attorney actually paid or is obligated to pay the attorney for such services performed. So, for example, if you take the case and you didn't get paid, your time could still be compensated. But notice they're not going to get that. Yes, Judge Hine has been overruled quite a bit. The Court of Appeals has overturned him on a lot of different things, including the Billy Wagner case down in Pike County. I've never been in front of him because I never haunted down that way, but I know attorneys who have, and he's got a bit of a reputation. So, yeah, there you go. And I've asked some other things, and yeah, he's had, So, Andrea Burkhardt's video comparing the warrant to a reasonable was pretty good. I didn't know, has the warrant been released? Because I never saw it. But I didn't know that was out there. Luke says, so good. So the good people of Ohio can't vote him out of office. No, he's a retired judge. He's a retired judge. He's what's called a visiting judge, meaning he goes and fills in where they need stuff. So a lot of times, if a judge goes out of town on vacation or is sick, he can come in. Or if a judge gets recused and there's not another judge in the courthouse. So, for example, you're the only judge in the county, they'll bring him in for this. And that's what happened here. The judge in this case recused himself. So this judge got assigned. But yes, he is over the age of, he is a retired judge. He can no longer run. He's past the age of 70. He served out his terms and now he's retired. So, yeah. So we can't even get rid of him. Yeah, no, I know. I was just pointing out, Luke. Yes, he is retired. Yep. So, in Wagner, the old judge retired and the new judge was one of the prosecutors. Yep. So you have to get a new judge in there. So he has nothing to lose. Well, I mean, he does. The Supreme Court of Ohio is the people in charge of assigning judges by assignment. They could simply not fucking use them anymore. They could probably discipline him and say, if you're doing all this, you're not doing a good job. Well, we can report you. There's all kinds of stuff they could do. I mean, maybe they could stop using him. Because part of why judges take visiting judge status is you get paid per diem and you get health care for it. You get health insurance. That's why a lot of judges do it. So, God, I hope he makes a song about the judge now. He might. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. But anyways, that's the update for Afroman. Absolute fucking horseshit. Coming out yesterday in another court judgment, Meta and Google, meaning, remember, the artists formerly known as Facebook and Google, were found negligent in a social media addiction trial. And you're like, what the hell is this all about? Well, I mean, look at the soy faces there. Whoa. But yes, the Social Media Victims Law Center, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? But yes, this is something that had been going on for a couple weeks now. A California jury said that Google were to blame for the anxiety and depression of a woman who was addicted to social media as a child. She got $6 million. She got $6 million. $3 million of compensatory damages and $3 million of punitive damages, with Facebook being on the hook for 70% of it. Now, I think you guys remember, like, back in the day, man, people, used to be hooked on Facebook. My buddy in college, my best friend actually, he used to do stand-up. And, he'd, like, make jokes like, when you're done with Facebook, you'd log out and stare at this is back when it was, like, on computers. He used to say the joke was, like, you'd stare at your login screen like a cocaine addict stares at his coffee table. And you'd say, well, while I'm here, I might as well. And you'd log back in. Like, Facebook, like, really used to be addictive. DeRocco says you could turn it off. Yes, I agree. J-Rock says this gets 100% reverse on appeal. I don't know about that. Man. Maybe. It's the first time a jury's ever done this where the social media became a defective product for being engineered to exploit, people being addicted to it and staying on it. The dopamine rush, chat. Afton saying, is this a First Amendment issue? No. This is basically like a defective product that you made something so addictive because it's not what they're saying, it's the means of it. So it's like if I make a video game like World of Warcraft, making it's not the First Amendment issue, but making it so it's so addictive that you play it all the time. That could be the thing. And J-Rock saying, trust me. Okay, fine. I trust you. So, Marlene says, I gave my Facebook addiction by substituting YouTube. Yeah. After saying, I was confused by people saying why it was. Well, it's because you think it's that, but it's not a First Amendment issue. I mean, yes, the thing, Facebook and, Google and all this, they are First Amendment vehicles and platforms, but the platform itself is not a First Amendment issue. Is this hinged on the dopamine stuff? I don't know all the way, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is. I just don't know. So, but they claim that these were deliberately built to be addictive. I mean, Facebook was. I mean, like the Farm Bill stuff and all those things back in the day. Yeah, totally. I could see that being meant to be addictive and engage and for you to like buy and consume and it's like Pokemon cards. It's meant to like now you're getting in the chase and you're gambling and you want that rush of getting the chase card, getting that pull. So that's what they're arguing. It got my grandma addicted to Bejeweled. Yeah, addicted to likes, and you're addicted to the dopamine rush and the parasocial relationships and, group adulation and yeah. The Winter Soldier says, I'm addicted to the New York Times crossword puzzle. Can I sue? Maybe. You'd have to admit you're a nerd, though. I'm a nerd. I do the crosswords. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Facebook claims they did studies. And yeah, it was so addictive they quit doing the studies. But I mean, like, the idea that people were not, compulsively searching this stuff. Yeah, but it's just like a gambling app. Is it our fault that you're a degenerate or prone to gambling? Yeah. So, J-Rock says, think about the liability that would apply to every company if this stands. Well, you already see like Valve being sued for the Counter-Strike weapon skins. Like, there's all kinds of stuff going on there. So, it'll be interesting how they do this. Remember, it's $6 million and the attorney gets 30%. So, it'll be there. So they said that they wanted that one of the jurors said, we want them to feel it. We want them to realize it's unacceptable. $3 million for Google and Facebook is like a fucking, they probably spend that much on toilet paper every month. Honestly. They vow to appeal. Yeah, sure. So yeah, that'll be there. And then Meta got hit with a $375 million damage for failing to protect young users from child predators on Instagram and Facebook. They claim they misled about the safety on their platforms and said they had flouted consumer protection laws. That is definitely going to get appealed. $375 million. That's real money. Chat. So Jared is saying if she wasn't a minor, why were her parents responsible for the actions? Oh, I'm sure that's something that's going to get discussed. I'm sure that's something that's going to get discussed, and they're going to go through that. But for right now, that's what that is. That's what that is. I thought it was interesting to take a look at that. I thought it was interesting to take a look at that. Let's see here. Let me see here. Now we'll deal with that. I'll deal the Caleb Flynn, the American Idol guy. He's getting he got charged with murder down by Dayton. I'll actually cover that as a separate video because, like, I don't know. I'll try to grift off the wine moms for that one. So we'll just pull that one out for later. Let's see. What else do we have? I gotta delete. X. Leave. All right, chat. We're kind of down to the last two stories tonight. Last two stories. Whoo. Here we go. Is that the one that cried like a little bitch? Yes. Sean's saying this is better than chasing ambulances, less cardio too. Yes. Very, very, very funny. Very funny. Now, who's messaging me? God dang. Oh my God. What are you guys? Everybody's messaging me. Yeah, we're not going to do that. All right. So, Cox versus Sony Communications. We covered the oral arguments in this chat, and this is a critical case. This deals with contributory copyright infringement. Remember, Sony sued Cox Communications as an internet service provider because people were pirating music using their ISP. And remember, Cox was 98% effective in stopping pirating and illegal copyright violations of Sony's music. Sony still went to court and got $1 billion verdict against them in damages. Well, not a verdict, but it's $1 billion in copyright damages. And Cox appealed, saying this idea of contributory copyright infringement is kind of bullshit. It's kind of bullshit here. So what did this turn into now? Well, this has a lot of impact. This impacts the Russell Greer and Kiwi Farms case. This actually impacts the Ethan Klein versus the Reddit mods and Denims. Those are two major cases where this exists, that this is a very serious issue. So what happened? Well, this came out yesterday. And as I said, it was cited for all the right reasons, the right way. But ultimately, they talk about here, and they start off by stating this case concerns contributory copyright liability. And you're like, okay, I like where this is headed. And remember, chat, this is where you go here. This concerns contributory liability. And they say, they go through this and they talk about what's going on here. And they go through the rest of this and they ultimately get to the held. The provider of a service is contributory liable for a user's infringement only if it intends the provided service be used for infringement. So you actually have to be holding out something meant for infringement, which can be shown only if the party induced the infringement or the service provider is tailored to that infringement. It's like if you're the Pirate Bay, yeah, you're fucked. But if you're just an internet provider, well, it's not your fault. And it says Cox neither induced nor provided a service tailored for it. Guess what? They don't go as far as saying contributory copyright infringement isn't a claim at all. They're saying you can still have it. They're saying it can still exist, but it's very, very limited. So this idea about Russell Greer saying like, oh, here's all the stuff that happened. Well, it was a very wide interpretation of this theory. Now it's super narrowed down. So even though this isn't a complete victory for the farms, this is a massive victory for the farms. For the H3 mods and the Reddit snark mods, this is really bad. Because what do? Well, they induced the infringement. They were like, do it. We're going to work together. We're showing you places to go to watch. Like, and they provided tailored ways, I would argue. They tailored a service. Now, it wasn't like they created a new Reddit, but they created Reddit pages of like where to go and mega threads. I bet this will qualify. If I'm Ethan's attorneys, I'm making this argument that these are the services that are being provided. It's a mega thread like that. It's not a complete massive victory for the farms, but it's a pretty good one. It's pretty good. It helps a lot. But they point out that, and this is part of the holding. The Copyright Act does not expressly render anyone liable for infringement committed by someone else. And this is how they go through everything here. And they say that, neither did Cox infringement provide a service or a tailored infringement. Yeah. For inducement, you have to induce or encourage them to do it. There's no evidence of express promotion, marketing, or intent to promote infringement, which is important. And it says Cox repeatedly discouraged infringements by sending warnings, suspending services, and terminating accounts. Yeah, they did everything they could. So what happens? Well, the Fourth Circuit is reversed and remanded. And notice what happened here, chat. Clarence Thomas delivered the opinion to the court. Roberts, Alito, Kagan, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett joined. That's 7. Sotomayor filed an opinion and concurred, and Jackson joined. What does that mean, chat? This is the part that's big. It was 9-0. Remember, we listened to that. We listened to those oral arguments. Even when we were making fun of Ketanji Brown Jackson, I think I said this was going to be like an 8-1 or 9-0 decision. Like, it should be. Like, it's very obvious what's going on here. But yes, 9-0. Absolute total victory. So, Sony lost that $1 billion judgment they had. Imagine if they had tried to settle instead. But now they're out all that fucking money they thought they were entitled to. So, base Kagan. Well, I don't know if I'll go that far, but yeah. But it's good. It's a good thing. It's a very important thing. I talked to Matthew Harden about it because I saw it yesterday. I saw somebody, I forget who it was, tagged me in Discord and said, "Oh, here's the thing that came out." And I'm like, I called because I was in the middle of stuff and I saw it later, like an hour after it happened. I called Harden up. Harden's like, "I already read it." He's like, "We got a lot out of it, but not everything. Not everything." Yes. Sotomayor, Sotomayor basically says aiding and abetting theories still kind of exist. But remember, that's not the binding authority. So the concurring opinion's not binding on anyone. Cox was not doing it either, but the Farms wasn't doing it either. So but I would argue the aiding and abetting was done by the H3 mods. So if I'm the H3 mods, this is not looking good. If you're the H3 Snark mods, you're having a rough day. You're having a rough day. Now, somebody was told, you guys said something about the Reddit mods, put the case up on, yes. And this is true, Luke. The Reddit mods had to file a notice of supplemental authority regarding Cox because you have an obligation to report supplemental authority, whether it's positive or negative. If you come across case law that's not beneficial to you, but is pivotal in determining the claims, you have an obligation to provide the court with that stuff. You can't just hide it. So, for example, if you're challenging like jaywalking and the Supreme Court of your state comes out with a rule that directly affects you, as an attorney, your attorney's got to go let the court know, like, Your Honor, changing case, like, here's stuff you need to know. By the ethical rules, you have to do that. If you don't, that can get you sanctioned. Also, regardless, this case is inherently good for them. It's not actually good for the Reddit mods. It's good for Ethan, I would argue. Ethan actually benefits from this. The farms is protected. The Reddit mods, this actually hurts them, I think. So, I think that if they really thought this was good for them, they're idiots. So, but yeah, remember it's 9-0. It's 9-0. And we may read this later, chat, but it is out there to take a look at. It is very interesting. It is very, very interesting. I will say I do love Clarence Thomas's thing where it's like this is almost reads like a documentary. It's like a 1980s documentary. Countless people, like a news story from a local news channel. Countless people use the internet for legal activities, but some use it to illegally share copyrighted works. I'm Ted Tedderson. Join me at 5 for this expose on this new information superhighway known as the internet. I agree it makes the standard higher, but their conduct is very is far closer to the limitations than the farms is, their stuff is starting to skirt those rules, is my point, Luke. So Reddit and their mods deserve no protection nor any mercy. So yes. Suffer Reddit mods. Okay. All right, chat. Now we're moving on to the last thing here. When I saw this, I was like, what the hell happened? How did this work? A quadruple amputee and professional cornhole player is facing charges of murder. And you're like, how? How'd you do that? You're like, why? Why, Gary? Why? But anyways, it's a guy named Dayton James Weber. He was arraigned in Maryland for fatally shooting somebody down in Virginia. So what did he do? Well, he got accused of first-degree murder of intentionally killing a guy named Brad Wells in a couple days ago. He got also charged with second-degree murder. And how did this happen? Okay, well, he picked up two of the witnesses from work in a vehicle where the victim was already in the front seat. So this guy could drive a car. The documents state that while driving, an argument broke out between, Stubby and his buddy. They then this guy pulls out a firearm and shot the guy twice in the head during the argument. It then says he pulled the vehicle over and asked the passengers to help get him out, and they refused. They exited the vehicle and flagged down a cop, and he drove off with the body in the car. And then they discovered the body on the side of the road. So the guy eventually got him out, but that would have been a lot of fucking work. Yes, limitless power. Oh my God. That's a bad joke, but I love it. Yes, Shinobubu. Yes, apparently he won the argument. Yes. So, I do like this story when it first happened. It's like, what we don't know, how was he able to drive a car or fire a weapon? You're like, yes, I think we all have those questions. And yes, Ricky Berwick is taking notes, but Ricky Berwick has hands. So what actually happened here? We don't know. But you're like, what happened here? So anyways, the guy is a professional cornhole player, part of the American Cornholing League. And chat, no, that is not just what happens in prison. The American Cornhole League can be experienced out in public. I just don't understand how this guy does it. How do you do it? 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 How do you throw? And it's not exactly clear how this works. But if you guys want to see it, we can watch something. Seeing this dude, I don't know how it's possible. We're going to show it because there is video of him shooting guns. But we are going to start with this here, and this is Inside Edition, but this is interesting how apparently there is video of this guy working and doing this stuff. So here you go.
A Maryland man who became a cornhole champion despite being a quadruple amputee now faces...
He apparently takes him and and with his in between his limbs. But how did he use a gun? I really don't want to show this, but fuck it, we're showing it. Here you go, chat. This is a Beretta 92. No, he's using a normal gun. I think he's got little finger nubs or something, because here, he does this here. Watch this. Here we go. That's right, Chad. He just loaded and yeah. He just did that. Yeah. He has little nubs apparently. Yeah, I agree. For paralyzed people, Keopathic, I have seen this before. They make especially people are paralyzed or dwarves. They have these paddles that are the braking gas that attach up on a steering wheel so you could drive. But I'm curious how this guy can drive in his situation, because this just doesn't work here. I'm a little confused. Here. Okay. Hold on here. People are DMing and I'm like, I can't do this right now. I'm busy. I gotta get this done. But anyways, he's holding it and it's this is fucking crazy. It's yes. You ought to look at him. Yes. Yes, so he I said quadriplegic murderer. Okay, not quadruple amputee murderer. I need to fix that. But it's damn. But yeah, anyways, the dude obviously I don't think that guy could have loaded up a magazine, but you give him a loaded magazine and a handgun and he takes it and he gasses up that pistol and he starts going to work and you're damn. So it's not even just he's bop, 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 bop. This dude can get it on. Yeah, it just don't make no sense. It doesn't. You know what? That's appropriate.
It just don't make no sense.
It don't make no sense. But where did he have it? I'm curious to know, where was he hiding it that he yanked it out and was moving it all around and the guy sitting in the car next to him wasn't and tried to grab it or try to jump out of the car? Was he just oh, you can't do that? Bullshit. Boom. It's he's gonna have fun in prison. Yeah, that's gonna be really bad. That's gonna be bad. Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, I kind of got the feeling he's going away. That'll be a fun trial, too. That'll be a fun trial. It's like getting burnt stomped by the guy in My Left Foot. Yes. Can he even go to prison? Yeah. Oh, 100% he can. Why can't he? He might be in a medical wing somewhere, or he might be at most prison systems nowadays have a hospital prison that he can go to. But I mean, I don't know, maybe they throw him in Gen Pop and then maybe he has to make sure he, maybe he goes to Gen Pop and he gets raped to death. I don't know. Either way, it's not going to be good. So either way, it's not going to be good. That's some circus sideshow shit. Yeah. Wig looks as I'm telling you, man, he's already shaped like a fleshlight. Yeah. Yep. He was a wrestler too. Imagine getting beat by that guy. Well, he would be very good at it. He's got like, basically no center of gravity. Yeah. So, are prisons wheelchair accessible now? Yeah, there are like, well, a lot of them are. Yeah. I mean, the traditional way of building like tiers is kind of going away. Jails and prisons are being built more like horizontally. It's harder to take over in riot situations. When you have like cell blocks, those are easier for riots to coalesce and you could consolidate and make it hard to take back from rioters. A flat, like one floor, everything's on the first, like a ranch, basically a ranch style house, but basically the entire prison is on like is only one story. Well, you could send like forces all over the place to go take it back if there's any problems. It's actually a thing that's more and more happening when you can. Yeah, in Texas they build them flat. That's the modern day. That's the modern day way of doing it. Missouri says, was the guy he murdered handicapped? I don't know. How does he get fingerprints in? I'm telling you, they're gonna call him fidget spinner. Yeah, his chicken nugget. Yep. Alyssa, hi, Alyssa. How are you? But yeah, how do you? Are we doing locals tonight? Yes, we're gonna move on to locals here. How do you fingerprint him? I don't know. It's like, I'm sure the cops when they arrested him, they're all standing in the back of like the room behind him, and they're like, "What do we do? Like, how do we fingerprint him?" And the guy's like, "I don't know." And it's like, but he's like, how do we do his mugshot? He's not even going to register on the height gauge. The guy's like, "I don't know. They're like, "But you're the supervisor, Steve." He's like, "You're the sergeant." He's like, "I didn't sign up for this." J-Rock says, does he have a dick? I don't know. Maybe you can ask him. What if this is the guy that ran over the teacher? They're going to use his butthole for fingerprints. Oh my God, chat. Yeah. YouTube doesn't like my ideas for printing him. Not even feet prints like a baby. Yeah, I know. Do they just take his like nub and just like rub it in ink and just like roll his nub all over a piece of paper? Yes, we don't have a protocol for nuggets. How do you cuff them? Yes. I don't know. Yes, he did lose his limbs at 10 months old. They had to amputate them all, yeah. I'm surprised nobody's made cornhole jokes. Come on, guys. It's like, well, that kind of goes without saying. But yes, clearly every nub is different. Maybe. I don't know if you can scientifically say that to a reasonable certainty. All right, chat. Yeah, you cuff them with a duffel bag. Oh my God, that's so mean. That's so mean, chat. All right. We got to catch up on the super chats here. Make sure we got everything. Spud Gun for £5 sterling. The King Sterling says for the goal. Just so you know, I put my retraction publicly because I made the statement publicly. But Shrooning out, shocker, yes. Apton said, why did the lawyer ask for a female cop? Because I'm sure she, like she could maintain the Zimzir, I use mixed pronouns or whatever it is. But as the meltdown's happening, that all falls apart. You fall back to your original training and programming. As I say, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your lowest level of training. Derek for $4.99 says, let's say you're stone cold sober and refuse the dance, but tell them just to go to the breathalyzer to get this over with. I mean, you can ask for a breathalyzer and they can deny you and say, we still think you're drunk. But yeah, I mean, like if you do that, could you do it? Sure. I mean, I don't ever recommend, just skip it straight to that. But if you want to, I guess, and you think you can win it, go for it. But like, you need to talk to a lawyer where you live. But I mean, that can be a strategy sometimes. OSINT Commando's been a member for 14 months. Says, well, we have a tier list of G3 builds for G3 build meme only. Oh, G3 build for members only. Yeah. Well, like I said, once it comes in, I'm gonna take parts of because I found out with this. So that cheap set me kit I bought, I can use like the rollers. I mean, I might just buy a new set of rollers, but I can reuse the bolt. I can use a couple other parts that the G3 kit didn't have. And we're gonna print the Amigo Grande, chat. I'm not gonna bend the flat because I have the 3D printer fixed. I'm gonna try to print the Amigo Grande, and we'll see if it works. I don't know if PLA is strong enough, but we'll find out. Duraco's saying, was that DUI stop done on the back streets? Yeah, it was done out in rural Long Island. Yeah. And then Sleazy says, do I know about claviculars shooting a gator? No, but I saw that the Florida Department of Wildlife is looking at it, which, ooh, buddy. Clavicular might get in real fucking trouble. Amateur Iconoclast says, for the gold. Thank you. And then Spudgun says, Shiloh Hendricks, yes, the mom in Minnesota who, screamed the N-word at everybody. Her trial is in June, which it sounds like, I hope it's televised. Also, it sounds like one of the charges got dropped against her for disorderly conduct. So already a win for her. But yeah, she goes to trial in June, it looks like. EDW Raptor says, I sent you one more video of the nugget. Really? Let me see here. Let me see here. Oh. Oh, what the hell is this? Okay, we're going to watch this here. Okay. Okay, this looks kind of based. So this guy, he's climbing a tree stand. Okay. To be fair, I can't do that right now. I'm a little too fat, but okay, here we go. Oh, damn, he's not even using like any cheats. He's just like using his nubbins. Look at him go. And he's going to get up. Well, yeah, it's a one-man stand, and he's going to be able to operate a rifle up there by himself. Wow. Well, actually, is that a two-man stand? No, that's a one-man stand. That's just a big one. That's a little narrow for two. Wait, is that a two-man? No, that's a one. Well, it might be a two-man stand. What if he falls? I don't know, but it's a risk for anybody climbing a tree stand. You might fall. Can we get the Mission Impossible? Oh.
Like that second shot a little better, don't you?
Well, there you go. So yeah, that's probably going to be used against him if he goes to trial. Yeah, it sounds like he's adapted well to life. Well, he's going to have to adapt to prison life now, probably. He might break his legs if he falls. Although, I was just thinking about this. If you guys have ever been in a tree stand, like tree stand harnesses that you tie off so you don't fall. If you're climbing up the tree and like he fall, like he's in a, if like that guy has to harness up. If he falls, how does the harness work for him? Like he'll fall right out of it. Or think about it, like, can he operate a self-climbing tree stand? That would be kind of, actually, I'm not gonna lie, I would pay to watch him use one of those like a climber. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, they make like tree stands like that where there's a ladder and a platform, but they also make tree stands where you sit there and you can kind of like shimmy your way up a tree with it. And basically you sit in it and you can kind of climb up. And you can get really high in those. And then when you're done, you come down. I wonder how that would work. The harness is a burlap sack tied to a tree. Oh, that's funny. Stacy says Phil is commissary. Well, I'm sure he's going to earn his way to filling his own commissary. He'll with a lot of skills. Adam has a 1-point harness. He could wear the shit stilts like a drywaller and chase after people. Cat says, I prefer the climbers. Climbers are neat. They're pretty neat. They can have their uses. Those are better, especially on land where you can't have a permanent tree stand put up or anything like that. The 1-point harness is a choke collar. Oh, but yes, I could see him embalmed using the Mexican drywall stilts. That would be so funny. All right, chat. Well, I think we're all caught up here, so we are all done. Interesting. Thank you guys. Like a lot of people here tonight, guys. Thank you for that. All the Ryan people. I guess you're gonna go back to Ryan and be like, look, we stuck around, so don't ever ask us for anything again. All right, guys, we're going to go over to potentiallycriminal.locals.com and hang out there. Use the promo code ICESTORM, all lowercase. You get 1 month free access, which includes the live shows Monday nights at 9 and tonight afterwards. Yes, yes, yes. You guys could do that. We also go do, those are for paying members only, guys. $3 a month, pay for 10 months, you get 2 months free. We also do other stuff over there that's open to everybody. We are dealing with this weekend the Japanese Grand Prix, chat. That's right. The Japanese Grand Prix is going to be ongoing here, and we are going to be watching the race. The race starts Sunday. Well, it's like Saturday. It's Sunday morning at 1 a.m. We will watch it. And yeah, we are going to be ready. We are going to be ready, chat. Just remember, a bunch of stuff, there is a bunch of these races may get canceled. Some of them are already out of the way due to the ongoings and happenings in Iran. So remember the Gulf states, although I bet they're hoping by the time they get to Abu Dhabi, it'll be over. And yeah, hopefully the war will be over by then. So Sean Key's one of those front baby chest holsters for Clyde, yeah. Which race is the best one? Spa-Francorchamps. I mean, that's it's the coolest track. Nothing beats those guys hauling ass out of down through Eau Rouge up the Camel Straight. That's a pretty cool thing. Past the bus stop. Wait, no, Tehran Grand Prix this year? No, but Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, there's all kinds of shit you're gonna have to deal with here. There's all kinds of shit, yeah. Qatar, there's all kinds of things you have to worry about. X is the one that isn't a battery replacement yet. Monza or Silverstone? I don't know how you could say Monza is. Monza's not good. They got a race in the old Monza track. Spa, Imola, and Silverstone are the best three. Yes. Katie says, I thought they already canceled a bunch. They canceled Saudi Arabia and Bahrain, but Qatar and Abu Dhabi are still on the list because they're not up until the end of the year. So Monaco, I like Monaco. Monaco's got unique charm. And you get to meet Prince Albert in a can if you win. So, and Monaco's coming up. So, we'll be at Monaco before you know it, chat. Monaco's 2 months out, roughly-ish. So Monaco's pretty to look at, but it's a terrible race, yeah. Kia Path says, I don't care for Formula One. Oh, I mean, it's better than... I don't know. I like it. It's gone downhill since I started watching it, but hey, what doesn't? What doesn't? Eric says, I've been to the Monaco track in the 90s. Nice. Yes, the Monegasque is a cool language. I forget how you pronounce it, but yes. The Monaco, their language is, yes, very interesting. Yes, it normally is Memorial Day weekend, but it's not Memorial Day weekend this year. It's actually the weekend after, or after a little while. So F1 died with Ayrton Senna. Yeah, it did not. It still survived for a while after Senna. So F1 died when Ferrari couldn't have Marlboro on the side of its car. Oh, it's Monegasque. Okay, I don't know how you pronounce it. So I live in Ohio. I don't know. So, all right, chat. Anyways, that is it for us. So, should we call it F5 when they refresh it? Yes, they should go back to the V10s. I agree. Yes. I don't like smoking, but I like the Marlboro logo. Yeah, but that was, Ferrari had it. It was the best. Formula Drift is better than F1. I don't know about that. Everyone watches to see how Ferrari fucks up. I do too. As a Ferrari fan, I watch knowing they're going to fail. So, all right, chat. With that said, we are going to wrap it up. I will see you guys next time. Tomorrow night, we've got Patrick Tomlinson updates, it looks like. We're Pat posting tomorrow, chat. And also Greer posting. So, good night, chat. I will talk to you guys later. Remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Good night, chat. And take care, everybody. Thank you so much tonight.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick Hayden yelled at? Why, yes it was.